Hey, this is Eric over at Techno RV, and in this video I'm going to install this Poynting 7-in-1 antenna, and this is what's going to connect to my Pepwave Cat 12 Duo cellular router. So I'm going to install this on top of my RV, so I'm going to walk through the whole process with you from drilling the hole to installing this thing, making sure we're all weatherproof. Whether you're installing the Poynting like I am here, which if you're installing this one, you're certainly going to learn just a lot about this antenna. But even if you're installing a different type of antenna, I believe you'll learn a lot in this video just as far as the considerations that you need to make whenever you are drilling holes in your RV to mount something on the roof. Anyway, this is the Poynting 7-in-1. And so if we flip this over, there are a few mounting options that we have here. One is that you can just come straight out of the base, which is what we're going to do. So you'll have this little base that protrudes out from the bottom here, and it's got this screw cap on it. So if you can imagine, if I unscrew this cap, and then I have a hole in the top of my RV, this base will just drop down in that hole. And then from the bottom side, we'll come back up and screw this to the base. In addition, there is 3M tape here that you'll use to secure it to the roof. So, and then we'll put a bead of Dicor around this. We'll make sure it's good and weatherproof before we're done. If you wanted to mount this and maybe run the cable along your roof and go to a junction box or run it along the roof, just drop it in somewhere else besides where this is going to be mounted, then if you look at the bottom of this, this piece comes out, and then this base right here just unscrews and comes out, makes the bottom completely flat. And then if you can sort of imagine that, then this cable would just lay flat and come out the back side of this. That's not what I'm going to do today, but if you wanted to do that, then they certainly have the means to do that. So you get a little baggie in your kit here, and one of the things that you get in here is a longer base here. So that's the one that comes on it, and then you can see there's a longer one. So you know, depending on the thickness of your roof, you may need to use the longer, and maybe that would be better. I am certainly installing the longer base on it today, and so during the process you'll see that. Other than that, in here there's a few clamps in case you did run this cable along the roof. It would give you something to secure it to the roof with. And then you have these openings on the 3M here, the 3M pad here. It's actually a pad. I think I called it tape earlier, but it's actually a pad with 3M on both sides. And to fill in those holes, you have these little discs. And because I'm going to use the 3M pad, I will be using these. I believe there's these right here. I've heard that there's like magnets that you can screw into here, but they don't come with the kit, and that wouldn't be the way that I would use this anyway. But so I'm just going to fill these holes in. So anyway, we're about to get started with this. I've got my buddy Dennis with me here today, who's going to kind of help me with the process. And you may have met him at some RV shows. If you've been to RV shows, sometimes he's in our booth, but he's super experienced with this type stuff. So I figure why not have him along for the ride to point me in the right direction in case I get off the road a little bit. So anyway, let's go ahead and go inside and take a look at where we're going to start drilling the hole and the considerations that I am making prior to drilling that hole to make sure that I drill in the right spot. All right, we made it inside. This is a 2016 Tiffin Phaeton. And so the first thing I want to say is that every RV can be different. So if you decide to take this project on, obviously you need to look at things as it relates to your RV, but maybe some things that I talked to you about today will help you anyway. So I've consulted with a lot of people that do a lot of work on RV roofs and drill a lot of holes. And what I'm told is that typically manufacturers will run their wires all the way down the sides or straight down the middle, right? So those are the areas we want to stay away from. So what I did is that I'm going to install the Pepwave in this cabinet right up here. And so I'm going to install the Pepwave in the cabinet right here. And so what I wanted to try to do is see what was behind some of these panels. And so this one just had some screws in it, and then I've got a little suction cup here. I can kind of bring it down. And then you can kind of see that they've got a few wires running behind here because I'm trying to figure out where to run my power for my Pepwave to and how I might do that, and kind of also see what the situation is as it relates to how the wiring is run in the RV. And my power for my Pepwave is going to come up here. So Pepwave sitting here, and then I'll run my power cable, and then I'm just going to plug it into a wall outlet, so that'll make things real easy. I also had another panel up here that I could look behind, again, to give me some reassurance of, hey, where do they run the cables in this RV? And it does seem to be true for this RV that they're just running them right down the sides behind all these panels kind of up high. So in this cabinet right here, I was able to pull the panel off here too. And again, just trying to get an idea of how did they run the wires in this RV. And in this RV, it does seem to hold true that they're just running it straight down the side of my RV, which is over to this side. And I've got all kinds of goodies in here. I mean, I see AC power in here, DC. I've got all my stuff for my satellite coming in, so some interesting items there. But anyway, this is just kind of some due diligence before you get started. Just kind of, if you can take a peek at things behind the walls and things like that, it's not a bad idea. The other thing that we did is I've got speakers right up here. So you can see there's two of them, right? And I also had two of them here. And what I did is went ahead and just pulled these off because I wanted to, now I've peeked on the sides, now I want to kind of peek up, right? And so I've done that, and I can kind of see, especially in this one right here, I can kind of go ahead and see the plyboard for the roofing and the insulation that we're working with and all that. And you know, certainly I don't see any wires running along the roof line in either of these spots right here. So that's a good sign because I'm going to be drilling almost somewhat in line with this. So anyway, anything you can peek at before you get started, it's a good idea. So here's what I've been told by the professionals in the market to do this. You want to take a small drill bit, like even 1/8 of an inch. If it's a little bit bigger, you can use one of those flat spade drill bits, which is probably what we'll be using, and drill up from the bottom nice and slow, right? Everything's slow in this process, right? Because what you're trying to do here is get a small hole to go up and pierce the top of the roof. And the reason that you use a small bit is if you did happen to come across a wire, the bit's going to be so small that it'll just roll off of it. That's the idea, right? And so you drill a small hole from the bottom, and then you go on the roof, and then that's where you drill your bigger hole from top. And then basically you're going to just start digging insulation out, taking it real slow. This whole process is all about taking your time. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get the drill out and get Dennis over here with me, and me and him are going to start drilling and getting this project started. All right, it's time to start drilling. This is Dennis, everybody, and he's going to be helping me throughout the process. And so, again, the recommendation from experts I've talked to is if you get like 1/8 of an inch drill bit, if you're going to go any bigger than that, then you might consider one of these flat blades. This is just a little bit bigger than 1/8, but it's flat. It's called a spade bit. And so I'm going to go ahead, and what happened here when we were doing our testing, we realized up in this cabinet that there was like a metal plate on the ceiling, probably where they're bolting these cabinets to. That's fine, we just had to go through that, but I went ahead and just tapped that. But now on video I want to show you. Now the other thing is that I already know this hole's good, And it would be highly recommended that if you're going to do this, that you cut all power to your RV. So we've already done some recon on this, so I know I'm good. So you'll see my lights on. But anyway, let's go ahead and start drilling and get a hole up through the roof. Oh, and I've got this 90-degree angle because I've only got so much room in this cabinet to work with. So sometimes it might be nice to get like a 90-degree drill bit for your drill. All right, let's do it. And the first part of the wood, once we got through the metal, is super thin. I mean, it goes right through it. And at that point, I'm in insulation. And then my next point I'm going to hit is the plyboard on the ceiling or the roof. And I've hit it, so here we go. There we go. All right, I'm through. All right, so we got the hole drilled through up to the roof, and we just need to go up there and confirm that I got all the way through. And if I did, then we're gonna drill a bigger hole from the top down, and we'll explain that when we get up there. So let's head on up. All right, so we made it on the roof and we have success. I've got the hole here. So what we've got is we've got fiberglass here and then the plywood underneath that, and then of course the insulation. So the instructions for the Poynting say to get a 22 millimeter. That's what the base of that antenna is going to be able to slide down into. So that's what I've got on the drill. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill through the fiberglass and the wood, and then we're going to go back into the RV and drill a bigger hole coming up now that we know we're safe coming up through and there's no wires, and clear out some space for us to start getting some cables through here. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, that does it. Pretty easy. Again, just fiberglass and a piece of wood, and then you'll, on my RV, you've got that insulation in there. So let's go back downstairs and start drilling from the bottom now. All right, so here's the next part of the plan. We're going to take we went and got one of these from Lowe's. It's like something you put in a desk to run cables through. And that is, how many inches is this?
This is 2 3/8.
So I got a 2 3/8, so we're going to drill a hole 2 3/8, and this is just going to clean it up whenever we're done. We'll pop this in there so I don't just have a 2 3/8 hole in my ceiling. And so, but by drilling this hole, it will allow us to then fit, if you remember that screw piece that we got to screw back up on the Pepwave once we get it installed on the top. That's why we're having to drill a bigger hole, but no worries because we're going to use this. It's going to look real nice. So, all right, so we've got this vinyl on the roof, and so when you start using a hole saw like vinyl, it really is not, it's going to start twisting it. So what we did is we went ahead and just cut that piece out, as you can see here. And so now that we've got that cut out, it's time to cut a hole. So now that we've drilled through, remember we had that metal piece that we had to drill through, so that was a bit of a chore there. But anyway, these are the things that you might run into to get the job done. So now that we've gone through the sealing part of it, now it's just insulation. So remember, this job's all about taking it easy, going slow, making sure you're doing it right, ensuring that, you know, if there was a stray wire or something, which we're confident that there's not, but hey, we're going to take our time anyway. So I'm just going to take a straight tool like this and just start digging the insulation out until I get to the top.
Should be getting close. You see light at the end of the tunnel, can't you?
Yep. Yeah, there it is right there. All right, now I'm 100% sure that there's no wires, so now I'm just going to take that drill bit and just run it up through there and get the rest of that insulation out of there. Snowstorm in here. All right, we got it. So the idea here is that, well, I don't have that piece with me. Oh, yeah. So remember this piece we had, this is just going to pop up in that hole. So now that we've got this done, we're ready to go back on the roof and go ahead and install the pointing antenna, get the cable run back down through here, and then we'll come down, once we're done with that, we'll come down here and clean things up. So before we go on the roof, remember I want to install that longer base onto the Pepwave, so let's get started on that. So I can just go ahead and take this 3M foam off, and then you're going to take this piece away, and then this will expose the Phillips head screws. We'll just take those out. And this should just come right off like that. And then we're just going to replace it with the longer pieces here. Go ahead and get this side started. Get the other side, and then it'll slide down. Of course, now we need to run the wires up through that piece. There we go. 2 more screws and we're done here. That does it, and then this piece just slides right back down over it and gives you that flat surface again. Put this back on, and we're ready to go to the roof and install this. Okay, so really before I go on the roof, I just want to go ahead and put this on, or at least the bottom side of it. So it only goes on one way here. So we want to get this right. Okay, and then remember I said it came with these little pads to fill in these additional holes. So I'm definitely putting these in to give us a complete flat surface once we seal this up. All right, that does it. We're ready to go. All right, so we've made it back on the roof. This is an omnidirectional antenna. It kind of doesn't look like it is, but it really is. But this is more for aerodynamics, so of course you would want to set this on your roof to where the wind's kind of catching it like this. So the tools of the trade up here are that we got to clean this area right here. I did this earlier with just some mild soap, and I've got some alcohol that I'm going to do right here before we put it on there. And then we're going to use some silicone right around the base of where this goes into the RV, right? Because this 3M is going to do its job to keep moisture out, and then we're going to put, once it's down, then we're going to put some Dicor around it, so it'll be good and weatherproof. So step one is I just need to make sure that it's good and clean here. So whatever you need to do with your RV to make that happen, now would be the time to do it. That'll do it? Yeah, I think so. Good. All right, the next step of this is we need to start getting the wires through the hole that we drilled. And you're not going to be able to just put all these in there at one time. So you can just take one or two at a time and then just start pushing them through. And then once I get them through, I've got Tammy inside and she's gonna pull them through. All right, that's good. Okay, this couldn't be going better, by the way. So now what we're going to do is you'll see like an indentation on the back of this. So that's going to be the back, and then the more of the shark fin will be on the front. And so silicone. Yeah, actually you're right. We should go ahead and take this off first so we're ready to roll, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to take this off. And then I need to take these baby pieces off. All right, now it's silicone time, and I'm just going to run a bead all the way around this.
That looks pretty darn good.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm. That's just a safety precaution anyway.
All right, okay. And does that look straight?
Yep, just that simple. Looks good.
We're getting there. This is exciting. Put a little pressure on this thing, and we're going to get this Dicor bead put on it, and then we're kind of done, yep. Except for downstairs. Yep. Okay. I think I'm gonna let Dennis do this. I feel like he might do a neater job than me. So Dennis, why are we using silicone on the bottom and Dicor around?
Well, normally you don't use silicone on the roof of the RV, but it's just a precaution to make sure if any water or moisture does seep in under any of this, you got that last layer that's going to be some type of barrier to prevent water from coming in.
And then what's the Dicor? How is that?
The Dicor is going to seal the outside of this antenna so that they can't any moisture or anything penetrate underneath the.
And it's more of a flexible mold, right?
Correct. It's a self-leveling one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it up here, and then you basically got 3 layers of moisture protection. You got your Dicor, then you've got your 3M tape, and then you have your silicone on the inside.
Okay.
So
yeah, we should be good to go.
We should be good to go. I think we're good.
And then that'll just dry and just kind of settle in, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what that'll do.
All right, so that I don't think we have to come up here again, right?
I think we're done.
Yeah. So we're going to go back downstairs and clean things up, get it connected to the Pepwave, and this job is just about done. All right, so we're back inside, and the cable came through just fine, as you can see. This really isn't an install video to show you how to connect this necessarily to the Pepwave, but on this one there's four cellulars, 2 Wi-Fi's, and 1 GPS, and it'll be labeled on the back of your Pepwave depending on what antenna you've got. Anyway, y'all remember that plastic piece that was screwed on that base? All right, now it's time to get this back on the cable and run it up through here. This is going to be the tricky part here. Just the way we chose to do this is to be able to go up through that hole and screw this in through the hole that we have here. So we got to slide all these in, and remember, you kind of got to do them one at a time. They're not all going to fit in there at the same time. Yep. All right, so when we go up through here, as you can see, you know, obviously, you know, I'm not going to be able to reach all the way to the which I can feel it right there. Maybe I can reach it. I thought I was going to have to use some needle nose, but maybe not. That would be pretty spectacular if I could get this started. Oh, I think I might have it.
Success?
Nope, not success. I mean, I'm right there. I'm going to get it though.
Got to do it blindly.
There it is. So it's on there. So now I've just got to screw it up, and this is going to, again, just provide more security for the Pepwave on the roof, which, with the way we've got it sealed up there, it's fine, but this is just extra protection.
And we bought right needle nose pliers, didn't we?
I don't know if we got enough room for it to fit down here. Oh,
Fit
yeah.
in there. Oh, they did, don't they?
Here we go.
Grab onto that nut and start turning it.
I can't see up in there. There we go.
Not too tight. It's plastic.
I did it. I got that.
it?
Yeah, I got the final turn on it. So, oh, and then we got our piece. Where'd that go?
Laying up there.
All right, it's just part of the job, people.
You got to thread that through.
So yeah, so this is the part we got from Lowe's, and I'm just going to finish this install up here because we've gone through the main part of kind of what you need to look at. But we'll run these through here. Well, I thought I could fit more at a time than I can. And I want you all to see how nice this install is going to be here. We'll roll it up, and we'll pop that in there, and then we'll seal that off. But man, doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
And then we'll put my Pepwave up in this cabinet, and then we'll run power to it. Now the Pepwave comes with hardwired 12 volt, or it's got an AC power supply. And I've got an AC power supply just down the cabinet here that I'm just going to run either behind the cabinet or through it, and plug it in. That's not what this video is all about. This was about the install on the antenna, and that part is done. I guess I just want to close with this and say that whenever you're going through this, make sure you take those considerations into account whenever you're starting the job. Take it slow. Every professional I've talked to about that, when it comes to drilling holes in an RV, they're like, just take it slow. Use that small drill bit coming up from the bottom, cut a hole in the top, and then just kind of dig your way in there. That's the safest way to do it. Make sure you kind of know what's going on in your RV as it relates to wiring the best that you can. And then also, whenever you start drilling and things like that, it's a good idea to just cut all your power and until you get that part of the job done. All right, so I just really wanted to wrap the video up by just kind of showing you the final installation here from inside the RV. And so I have not cleaned up the major wire coming down, but as you can see, again, we drilled this hole here and bought this piece from Lowe's. It's just like a piece that goes into a desk that lets a cord come through. So that turned out nice, and then the power, we basically just drilled a hole there, ran the cable, and we still got to clean it up a little bit, but it goes through there. The cable comes through these two cabinets here, and you can see the holes that we've put in here and drilled, and again, we still got to clean up, and then that comes through here and plugs in right up here. So we got power to the Pepwave, no problem. So the Pepwave, we've actually got just laying in here right now, and I've already got it connected here, as you can see. And I'm going to get a bracket and just probably put it up on the wall here, and then I'll do something to clean these cables up. But it is working spectacular. So Tammy ran a test before. We're at a good place anyway. I mean, we would get pretty good speeds here. So she had 51 download and 9 upload speeds, and then after we installed the Pepwave, she was at 62 down and 26 up. So she went from 9 up to 26 up on her upload speeds. And the differences on my computer were a little more dramatic than even that, but that was off of her computer. So it definitely made an immediate difference, and you can really just tell just by bouncing. Forget the speed test. I can just tell by just bouncing around on websites and things like that. So if you already have a Pepwave, but you don't have the outside antenna, and you're just wondering, hey, is it worth it to get the outside antenna? The results that we've seen here and what we see from our customers is that, yes, it can make a huge improvement to have that antenna outside, better line of sight to the local cell tower. And because remember, the original results that I shared with you about what Tammy had, that was with the Pepwave with the inside antennas. So still good results in this area. It can vary in different areas, but it was much better with the antenna. Also, if you don't have a Pepwave at all and you're just considering which unit is right for you, we've got a lot of information over at technorv.com. We've got articles, we've got videos on our YouTube channel comparing all the different units. So if you need more information, you can check that out, or you can call us, email, or chat with us, and we'd be glad to help you. I hope this video was helpful to all of you.